Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nightlight. My name is Tom Snarski, and I'm delighted to welcome you to our 34th Nightlight Poetry Reading event. I could not be more delighted to welcome this brilliant group of poets and writers. You're going to hear some beautiful poetry tonight from Kevin A. Risner, Zuleyha Ozturk, Nora Rawn, and Z.H. Gill. I am really excited to get things going. Before we do, I'm just going to say a quick word about the series, Nightlight. If you haven't listened in before, it is a reading series that features poets and writers in a monthly Zoom that's usually on the third Thursday of the month at 9 p.m. Eastern. So just as sunset begins to grace this part of the Eastern US I'm joining in from. We're on social media at Nightlight Poems on Twitter and night_light_poems_ on Instagram. We love to hype up our readings there, share stuff from our readers, and post recordings of the events when they go live on our YouTube channel after the fact. So thanks if you're joining in from the future. That's lovely. We're also on Coffee or Ko-fi, I don't know how you say that, at ko-fi.com/nightlightpoems if you'd like to support us. And all that said, I'd love to just get right into it. We're going to hear some really, really beautiful work, and the less of me talking and the more of our readers reading, the better. So I'm going to get things rolling by introducing our leadoff batter in Kevin A. Risner. Kevin A. Risner is a product of Ohio. He's the author of It's Easy to Lose Your Breath from Match Factory Editions in 2026. His work can be found in Ghost City Review, Gordon Square Review, Great Lakes Review, the Indianapolis Review, Memoir Mixtapes, Midway Journal, the Ocean State Review, and elsewhere. Kevin, thank you for leading us off. I'm excited to hear what you're going to read tonight.
All right, thank you for that introduction, and hello, everybody. It's great to see so many people here, and really looking forward to um, hearing from our other readers tonight. I'm going to spend a good amount of time reading from my new book that just came out a couple weeks ago, so pretty new. A lot of them I haven't read out loud, so it should be kind of fun, at least out loud at a reading. So this will be really fun. And here's the book. If you want to have a nice little look at it, I think there's a link to it somewhere that will get in the chat, maybe. Oh, there it is. Awesome. So I'm going to be not reading from the book itself just because it's so much easier when we do the Zoom readings just to put it up on the screen. So without further ado, I'm going to read the first poem in the collection, titled What If I Told You Lemon Trees Once Existed? A sixth extinction has come at the end of the 21st century, has passed. Brains float on top of soup ready for us to skim. The headlines all over the place make proclamation that winter solstice has gone and it won't come back. Bright yellow discs appear, bobbing on the surface of every single glass as the sun peeks out and the tart lives of summer never leave, even on Friday the 13th. Somehow, luckier now with each new virus wedged into the world, leaving ghost towns in their wake. Alive or asleep, it doesn't matter how we go about this next phase of existence. Morning calls and I find a tuxedo, put on sunglasses to face this God-forsaken world. I'll take the nearest bike and crash into the swimming pool and wait for the next eclipse to finish us off. All right. The next poem is titled Blood Buzz, and a couple of my poems, including the title of this work, are based off of songs by The National. And this one obviously was inspired by Blood Buzz, Ohio. You know, there is no space left for me on this planet. I'm sitting cross-legged for the zillionth time. In my scotch-clogged brain, I can zipper my lips, foist the ear trumpet against the wall to enjoy the symphony. Patience, Locust. It'll all even out after the bombs have dropped. It's no earthquake. It's no picnic. I still owe money to the money, to the money I owe. And here we have the same bastards we voted in again, who will fan the flames as I fan my face in this blistering July. The next month always comes so fast. All right. I'm going to get my expletives out of the way early. This is inspired by true events, of course. The title of this poem is As I Am Stung by a Persistent Yellow Jacket. I shout, fuck! At the exact moment, the neighborhood turns absolutely silent. I convalesce for 6 hours, thinking, I know there's still a risk when disposing that nest beneath the mulch. The size of the entrance to their den tinier than a nickel, worth more than the aphids and grubs they destroyed all summer long. We destroy the hornets in turn, a holy cycle. My chives continue to thrive even as the wettest spring morphs into the driest summer. I remember reading a book as a kid. One character provoked a nest of yellow jackets with a stick, with his foot, something like that. A swarm swirled around him like a tornado. The aftermath illustrated. A fully bandaged child lying on the bed with only mouth and nose visible. He had it coming. He did. An exterminator assures me whatever was used to kill the insects would not hurt my herbs. I rinsed the ever-living hell out of them anyway. The leaves, each stem, each vein. I never see the fallout. The corpses bundled beneath the ground, dry as dust for the next few weeks. I cover the quarry-like hole where the home once was, where life vibrated within such a finite space, what felt like the most perfect protection. All right. I'm going to read a couple poems. A lot of my poems in this book are interactions with wildlife. Um, these two are a bit more positive than the last one. The first one is titled, During the First Year of the Pandemic, a Frog Snuck into the House. Our only visitor for months and months and months. We transported it to a cool, shaded location in our backyard, and it didn't take long for it to bound away and disappear. We never could tell whether the croaking we heard after dark was partly our guest. It lulled us to sleep, like a talisman in the havoc of that year. As I think about our frog visitor today, I still don't know how it got in. But we never really know when something sneaks inside. And the surprise when we find it might be just what we need. The next poem is titled Another Visitor. On the lowest step on the way to the basement, a spider has spun its story for months until it has to move to a spot beside the house. The ferns curling up like wildfire, a central opening for a new web. I place it there and let it be. 5 hours later, there's a scuttle in the underbrush, home not yet built, but it always takes a little while to settle in. The next day, thunder cracks and rains over an inch, pummel asphalt and trees and wires, and we never see it again. But there are no floods or standing water anywhere in that part of the yard, so I'm hoping for the best. Let's see. I'm gonna read a couple more. Um, this one is also pandemic related. It's titled Zoom Cards Against Humanity. And it kind of takes from a game night, monthly game night that a couple friends of mine and I would have every month, especially the first few years after the pandemic started. A group of us sit around, but the table isn't circular. We have options like usual, and we choose the funniest ones, the dirtiest, the most accurate fill in the blanks to this ridiculous situation we find ourselves in. When I speak, my whole self is highlighted. Everyone sees a large enhancement of me. Unkempt, insular, interior. I pop up for a few seconds. This situation has left me eating rice and beans, perhaps a new curry with 70 photos on the web page, a novella, and the tiniest square of directions at the end. If I'm feeling nostalgic, I'll learn beer bread. We also eat spaghetti squash during one of the game nights, and everyone thought it was pasta. That's all we're eating during quarantine. Donna Bib, wait for more. A slug of arak and some Oreos we nabbed from a store we won't name because we don't want to let the truth out. It seems almost everyone is Zooming for everything now, for work, for meetups with friends, for family check-ins, any program similar to Zoom. To see faces, familiar, kind faces at the present moment, sates us for a short while. A satisfying escape from bitter reality. And I'm going to read two tinier poems, which I know some of us really like. This first one is titled, We've Somehow Figured Out True Bliss. We've somehow figured out true bliss on opposite ends of the couch, feet touching, reading lines out loud to one another. Any novel, that's our favorite. And this is a haiku titled Hope. And well, I'll read this and then kind of give you the update. Hope. A red oak sapling, now in a watering can, soon in our front yard. And I'm happy to say that that was 2 years ago that that sapling was planted, and it's doing pretty well out in the front yard. So I'm still hopeful about a lot of stuff, even if you get my book and read through it and you're like, man, a lot of this shit is pretty bleak. There is some positive stuff in here. So um, do I have time for one more or? Okay. I will read something I have never read to anyone before. Um, and it kind of fits with everything that I've been reading. And I'm in the process of mulching my lawn. I don't mulch, you know, early on. I do it in June. So the title is As I Was Laying Down Mulch in June Last Year. A lone firefly hovered as mulch surrounded lavender, allium, spiderwort in my front yard flower bed. 2 weeks before the summer solstice, and I was ecstatic about the newcomer, a rarity around here now. The rest of the neighborhood has been torn asunder, the undergrowth during a warm week in early March. All of it gone, and mulch mounds in their place because no snow ever fell in Ohio after that. With sarcasm dripping from my thoughts, I sat and I wondered where the rest of the insects were. Oh, I'll see more. There's still so much more time left before things get cold again. Bleak gray is endless as forever. I'm told there's at least something else to look forward to, even after the worst of the cold and the dark has passed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for getting the ball rolling. That was a beautiful set and just a really lovely. I love when like people, especially with small poems, but when poems are like, and now years later, I still I have this other kind of vibe going on. I also want to shout out Tyler in the chat, who's like, maybe we'll take a shot every time someone says tiny poems. I don't know if I'll make it that far, but I definitely encourage all the tiny poem sharing and reading. That again was Kevin A. Risner, who you can find on Instagram at Kevin A. Risner, KevinArisner, and on Blue Sky at Mr. December, Mrdecember. Again, Kevin's new collection, It's Easy to Lose Your Breath, has just been released. It's available on the Match Factory Edition site. The link is in the chat there. And there'll be a release party for the book on June 23rd. So if you subscribe to the Match Factory Editions newsletter at matchfactoryeditions.com, you'll get the Zoom link and you can hear Kevin read at that as well. Amazing. Well, here we are off. Yeah, as Nora said in the chat, I love these hopeful notes and keeping the joy and hope and lovely good stuff rolling. I'm really excited to introduce our next reader in Zuleyha Ozturk. Zuleyha Ozturk is a poet. She's the co-founder of Leavings Literary Magazine. Her poems have appeared in Adroit, North American Review, Salamander, Nimrod, Northwest Review, Palette, Four-Way Review, Calyx, and elsewhere. Zuleyha, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm really excited to hear what you're going to share. Take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful to be invited to another Zoom reading. I really like doing these and getting to meet the people who read. Um, so thank you for that. I think what I'm gonna read is newer stuff since that's encouraged. I'm sort of going back and forth, but I'll just read some new things. This is a long poem that I'm unhappy with the title. So if anyone has title suggestions, you're welcome to let me know. As of now, it's called The Moon Reversed. I think it was a tail end of September that brought on bouts of hand wringing, throat guzzling, armpits, and a man back on my mustard couch. I was a shy sort of Satan, waking up to a face with a nose ring, iron dry roses wrapped in a blue ribbon hanging from a curtain rod, almost stepping on a book cataloging insects while looking for my glasses. I dog-ear Kafka's letter mid-sentence. You misunderstood what I said about I master sex and forget about leaving. Soon the winter morning with its sharp whittled spine will break open windows. I'll think of sturgeons, the man who fed me caviar, the ring I hid to forget, rouge rubbed pink. I forget about sex and master leaving, my exit louder than a confetti popper inside a Corvette. Cue the applause and mother of pearl opera binoculars. I work the battered swan into a beating heart between my legs. I walk through a house and then another because there are no museums in mountains. Sugar packets in utensil drawers I pocket for later. I was his friend in pleasure, rubbed pink over a canvas called night. Sweating through my headphones during silent disco on the roof, it's never too late for heat lightning. Performance art. I sculpt through the wind on the back of a motorcycle. Was it true I loved failure, a man with sad eyes, thick sunflower bouquets, falling off a balcony, tall glasses of French 75 at an airport bar, horses, heavy tablecloths? The pineapple I refuse to cut rots on the windowsill another day. Pulling black polka-dotted tights over my knees, I sketch my legs through the eyes of another and beg for the conventional aesthetics of a confessional. To say, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned," but the red leather Quran catches the corner of my eye on the top shelf next to Harold Bloom and Nietzsche. I snap out of it, returning to the assigned novel, obsession, and jealousy. PTSD became gold coins sequenced around my waist while I shook my ass to any song. My life became beautiful the more I tested it. In a dream, a blonde woman called me friend, and I felt strange enough to kiss her. I wanted so much to fall in love again, I kept repeating, knowing I did not desire it. Though I still ate the venison, alarm clocked the vitamins, Prozac, and the want. What was it I wanted when I did nothing? The suede pillow, an object between me and whoever else, looking for sanity in the honeysuckle growing over the brick wall. It was a simple grammar school dream. You were lost among the orange and gardenia perfumes which once masked my wrists. I make an object of questions, pain, and prepare dinner too late, distracted by the freezing jungle in my heart. I am both flesh and machine. The almond blossoms waver under the air conditioner while I imagine a film, black and white, singing my good death, my last executioner. The delicatessen wafting meat tied in twine. I spit in my hand in a red backless dress, glistening, sugar stain, cruel finger, good luck edging fingers hung like a question on your belt. Beginning my role as a mistress, I use the doorknob to hang my leather jacket. Learn quick to crush a penis under my black heels. The leather whip dance, aftercare, and a translation of the Greek poet. Your hands, camera shutters, fast, fist, wall, knife, throat, earlobe, blue jay feathers. Asked for an apology, then stopped asking. The bright morning colors vomit through oak, smoke, tonal shifts boxed into an I'm sorry for what? I was so used to being used, it no longer upset me. I like to hang over for its silence, the echo of the past night, for pink slippers, no eggs broken over a hot pan. The hardwood groans as I pace between the hours, my thong peeking out of my jeans. I ash into his open mouth for music. I painted myself half elegant in a leather skirt, fishnet tights, autofiction, silk, and alligator scales. What becomes of a woman who refuses to mother? I'm a good fuck and a bad lover. I loved you, and once your mood swings became a lesson in psychiatry repeated back to me in a doctor's office, I left. You became all past tense. Your mouth locked on my left nipple, eyes lit and wide, a carousel waiting in the distance. Domestic violence, depression, PTSD pamphlets in purple and red graphics. Swimming in my nervous system, the swimming time bomb, the chapter swimming in her ending marriage, the public tendency swimming out of the impossible heart. In Florida, when it snowed, I chose a song that was pregnant with the sad word impossible. The lyrics of a father flirting with girls at Panera Bread. I checked boxes on papers handed to me in bureaucratic rooms. I desire a name, a dress of my own, and my shoes licked clean. My dirty soul licked clean of shoe pastries lined in the French bakery we used to frequent. There is no we anymore. Who is this I that keeps charging quotidian rhythms? Who is this you, churning blades in my larynx? A new state meant a new apartment, a new state of mind. I lash out against the narrative arc, and before you leave, I place an intelligent kiss. Champion of champions, chariot, cherries. I am the minstrel, the wink, the pink little sound drowned out by the garbage disposal. I enter cars and walk without fear. Nothing can break me after this misfortune. I dog-ear Sexton's letter. Please tell Max, tell the whole world that I have written a poem. So that's the first long poem. And then I'll read, I guess, a short poem, and I hope that's enough. That's like 10 minutes, I think. And this is called I Seek Only a Strange Beautiful Thing. I free bleed in your worn-out Hanes boxers for the last time this March. If I continue living the way I have, blowing bubbles, French kissing women once the weather is bikini pink, lime wedge jammed at the neck, then will it be you or my mother repeating the word selfish? I ask questions that aren't important, but in the process of asking, gain an importance. Do I miss when the paint lines on the road swim like eels? I seal shut an envelope, drain my lymphatic system, grind salt and garlic in a mortar and pestle, a paste, everything pink tool, everything scorpion. I sold my wedding necklace, aquamarine, for $30 on Depop. I don't want to be right or wrong anymore. I don't want the blue braid around my wrist. I don't want a grandfather clock. The first love dries you out, and summer is either morsel or vessel, nausea or nostalgia. Thank you guys.
Damn. Thank you, Zuleyha, for that great reading. The two poem set is such a flex, and I liked it a lot. The moon reversed just happened to us. That was Zuleyha Ozturk, who you can find on social media at zuleyha.b.ozturk on Instagram, Zuleyha.b.ozturk. And Zuleyha is also the co-founder of Leavings Literary Magazine. So I'll drop the link in the chat to Leavings. It's an amazing publication doing beautiful stuff. If you want to check that out, both the archive and the submission guidelines and all that good stuff. And keep an ear to the ground. I think the last time I saw Zuleyha in a Zoom meeting reading situation, there was talk of some sort of full-length manuscript that's floating around and looking for a home. And so I hope that that's true and that we'll all hear when that happens because that's going to be an event. Amazing. Thank you all so much. This is like what a beautiful opening volley from Kevin and Zuleyha, and really excited to get into the back half of our reading tonight with folks who I could not be happier to be hearing their work live. And the first of whom I'm really excited to introduce in Nora Rawn. Nora works in subrights and publishing and lives in Brooklyn. I got to meet Nora at AWP, which is really cool. And I'm so glad, Nora, that you're here. Thanks for reading. Take it away.
Thank you so much for the invite. When I went to AWP, it was kind of just because I thought I would try to nose around. So it's really lovely and really enjoyed those first readings. Also, I have a bunch of new things from like basically the last 5 days. So I'm just gonna read everything I've written since Saturday, and that'll be what we're gonna do. But the first one is actually continuing my attempt to like do these Catalan translations from this poetry collection by Rosa Bastida, who's given me permission now. So hopefully that will work out. But it's Fano Autochtona, and it came out a year or two ago in Catalonia. So the two from that collection, I'll just read those to start off. The first one is the nephew of Wendy, George Stewart, one day told me, as if they were pearls, let's string promises kept on a short thread and not tie it. If we catch one, another falls on us at the other end. And then the next one from this collection, which kind of draws from a bunch of different places and people around the author, is called Poem by Helen Willison for her sister Abby. The next animal can climb up and devour what's left. White worms of flesh already born, as if from the surprising spell of the flies. They can raise as mushrooms with threads, palaces spreading their rotten carpet-making mat. Another day you'll be hungry and you won't have anything left in your mouth. But now you're tired, and it could hurt you to eat such a sweet fruit without hunger. Those are much more exciting than the stuff I've written lately, but it's good to have variety. Also, I have 2 sports poems because it's been like a really sports heavy week. So moving into my recent stuff, this first one is called Unredeemed. The wave asks nothing, only returns, offering itself. Meanwhile, a person may ask nothing and return taking much. The sand goes out with each lapping crash as it curls back, passing into the ocean's misty swirl. Giving is the way of things, and holding too tight only delays the churn. So I tell myself, opening my arms. And then this next one, Nil Nil, I actually wrote as Justin at Some Words birthday poem, which I told him I wanted to write. So, Nil Nil. Here in this beautiful game called life, Telemundo says muy correcto when there's no chance to say goal. Play flowing or halting with the minutes passing across the pitch, held in perfect balance on the patchwork grass. Defensive plays and a propensity for plopping down on the turf, play acting or pain arriving as it always does perforce. Close your eyes as the ball flies and pretend you do not perceive the foul before the whistle blows. This longed for brief flash, this prolonged period, a perfect parabola of the well hit ball. Seguro, it will not heal the world or change it. Only ever so slightly drop a veil of goodwill behind which the gears may turn malignly. You see, we need the hydration break for our tears. And then the next one is in Abecedarian, which is my like fallback when I don't really know what to write. I took a break to go to Spain and I wasn't writing at all. So I find it very useful to be like, here's the alphabet. And I wrote this after the Knicks won the championship. And then the parade today was really nice, if anyone was wondering. Super swell. Okay, after the game. And the winner is, but no, cancel your priors, dismantle the narrative, execute your inner striver, flagellate no longer, genuflect not to the false binary. Having failed or not is immaterial. Jettison the keeping score, loosen thus the urge to always measure, to compare, to name check the more successful operators of this grand parlay, which none may quite conquer, not with our own reaping, always waiting, set to return each body's carbon back to the elemental world, with its ubiquitous uranium, the vanities of vanadium, the rare and inert xenon, the soft and yielding ytterbium, zeniths being marked by their fleeting nature. And then really quickly, I have a tiny poem which I wrote in Zachary's workshop on Monday as a prompt. I was very distracted. I don't know by what, so I didn't write anything long. I just wrote poem for Dionysus. And if I led you to wine, didn't you choose to drink? So thanks so much, guys.
Amazing. Thank you so much as I delay to find the Zoom wine emoji react and shout out that beautiful set, the beautiful tiny poem spirit. Also the wonderful choice to read translations. I'm always so grateful when translations show up at Nightlight. So thank you, Nora, for that wonderful group of poems. That again was Nora Rawn, who you can find at Nora Bird on some social media things, Norabird. I love dropping links in the chat. So I know Nora read like super new shit, which is very much in the spirit of Nightlight, but I'm also going to drop in the chat my link to, or a link to some of my faves of Nora's work from the Bulb region, SARP's incredible publication. And there's some really, really great work in there. Yeah, just check it out. We'll put it in that like tab open queue to visit, the next time you're on the toilet or what have you. Um, let us go into this beautiful closing moment. It's always a bit bittersweet to get to the point where we're introducing our last reader, not our last reader alphabetically, as the Zoom participant list is reminding me, but someone who I'm so glad to be able to hear live, joining us all the way from California. Welcome to Nightlight, Z.H. Gill. Z.H. Gill is a writer and filmmaker living in East Hollywood, California. He edits Burial magazine, and he is here. I wonder if he's figured out what he's going to read. I don't know if he has or not, but now's the time. Take it
Uh,
away, Zach. Thanks for being
Hi.
here.
This is such an honor. This is so cool, and it's awesome to follow up you folks. I'll do what I can. I was gonna read also mostly new stuff, but I changed the plan like an hour ago, and instead I'm gonna read really old stuff that I've never read at any readings. Maybe one new thing, we will see. But the reason that is because I got proofs today from the Sabretooth magazine. I'm in the new issue of that, and it's my oldest poem that I've ever had published. I wrote it 11 years ago. So I'm going to read that poem, and then I'm going to read some other old poems. This is called Paul Revere. We are in Madison Square Garden, a place synonymous with this city. Big cities conceal the faces of all those people who don't appear to belong. In every age, if I could stand to be less difficult, runs out to embrace him. The people who walked have seen a great light. The people who walked doesn't feel anything. My new friend is tired all the time. Prince of Peace feels everything, is tired all the time. What is it like, the light traveling through our streets, her magic heart, his magic mind? The people who walked frees us from anonymity. If I could stand to be less difficult, knowing that Jesus still walks our street, his magic hand feels nothing but time. God is living in our cities. She plays the difficult parts. She goes shoop, shoop-a-doop, shoop-a-doop, shoop-a-doop. So that was that poem. I'm going to read another poem that this poem is my brother no longer speaks to me because of this poem. It's called Hostility Reader, and it was published in Don't Submit in 2024. I learned to love the spaces and the static and Velcro. If mommy didn't teach me how to eat, I'd have starved. Anything in a can's safer to drink. Gosh, someone said in Europe, drug commercials are illegal. In Europe, castrati sit in parliament. I am not belittling castrati, he said. The Pope lives there, he said. I had diarrhea at the Vatican. Not trying to be funny, this is true. The year was what? 2006? My brother now works for the FDIC, supports the Atlanta Falcons, has a librarian girlfriend. He hasn't told me about her. My mom told me about her. No one's met her. She does exist, though. She wakes up in the morning and goes to sleep in the night. Recommends books to teenagers, poisons the water supply, eats wooden floors, bashes every picture frame she sees against her skull, licks her fingers, wears flags for clothes, was raised by predatory birds, builds Gundam Snap Kit models, edits road signs with supermarket blood. Her name is Verona, like in the Shakespeare, and I can't wait to meet her. Thank you. Okay, this next one is called, this is also in Don't Submit like a long, long time ago. This one is called If There's a Lull, Then Maybe Then. If there's a lull, then maybe then we'll set apart the wall apart, then maybe then we'll touch the part that's clear and safe to touch. I simply can't explain why not. My children feel the need for speed. They want and need and chomp and breed for all the world to see and breathe inside the wall, across the room. For me, it breathes and stomps, depicts the sea. My brother drew it there. His children bore my children when I came ashore to die. The part that's clear and safe to breathe is my only way, of course. Into the costly bargain of the sea, it launches my decision to, of course, the final choices then is to, for me to come ashore and die. The sea, the wall, the lull, the breed, the children bore it all. They died before they reached the shore. They died before the ball. Thank you. Okay, this one is called Language. This was in Don't Submit 3 years ago. Again, thanks for bearing with me. I just thought it'd be fun to read stuff I've never read. Because the is viscous fecund, heat death, language death, word death, heat fucking fecund, vicious, viscous, language, wooden, worded, because the word death is the language, fucking viscous is the language, word death, heat death, heat language, languid, because no one is the because viscous fecund, vicious, heat death, fucking language, heat death, heat. Thank you. This one is called Gerard Butler. This is like 4 kind of poems, a suite of poems for Gerard Butler. This was also in Don't Submit. Plane. There is not a plane, not in the knot. I haven't showered, but she shouldn't mind. Not if in your daily reverberance the plane is not plain. I wonder is the plane. I wonder is not if anything surrounding you is tomorrow's veil purchasable in 14 count and blind installments nobody tends to pay. Wander enough and you stall out like a mangrove system salinated to almost death. Planes available to you if you want them, but you shouldn't want them. You shouldn't want anything. You start wanting it, I swear to God, I swear it will hunt you down. I swear it. Cradle of life, shot light into my body. Greenland. Dear diary, I have kept you for so long so as to record my most diaristic of thoughts. You would think that is a given, but it is not, given the leather I've constructed my house and car and desk and freezer out of. I have no eyes to speak of. I was born without a mother. It's possible. Did you see it in the paper? Dear diary, I kept you for so long out of one final desire to record all the times the house shakes I can, so far, as I have determined, is, Dear diary, I have no Christmas tree to speak of. which I have now learned is detrimental to the environment. Machine gun preacher. Machine gun preacher. Hyena among zebras. I truly believe. That was Gerard Butler. Thank you. This poem is called I Perform My Exhaustion. Once again, it was in Don't Submit in 2023. I perform my exhaustion on stage at the Mayan Theater. Crawling skin should be cute. Anything crawling should be cute. The heat floats through my head, kissing the temples, settling in the occipital. Some windmills are the blades, and they get dizzy. Others are the tower, weary from waving such excruciating arms around, weather permitting. I miss the years of frozen yogurt. Anything seemed possible then. Nothing seems possible anymore. Nothing seeming possible doesn't seem possible. The stench of my neighbor's kitchen wafts through the pores of the wall. Cardamom, tinsel, celery, these aren't the smells, just words I admire. My apartment hums, no one can figure out why. I called a man who investigates hums for a living, and he told me to move. I'm spent, dead on my feet, shattered, knackered, pooped, frazzled, and bleary, and finally, begrudgingly, enraptured. For years I've desired a door knocker for my door, though I know I'd always be knocking it and someone next door would kill me. I read books about the natural world because I am terrified of nature. Terror lives in the soles of my feet and in my elbows, and I could name every inch of my body. I could name every inch of my body because terror resides in every inch of my body. Within, I should say, because if you just look at it, I don't think you see it. The first it there being myself. The first it there being me. Okay, I'm going to do... Now, this is a poem that... I don't know. It's an old poem. This was also in Don't Submit, but I revised it. So this is a world premiere of a revised poem. It's called I Have a Problem and I Have to Think a While. Pull over to think on the cracking shoulder. Pull over to think atop a parking structure 45 times the size of my apartment. Open trunk. Remove the thinking pillow. Hold the thinking pillow. Miss home, even though from here it's not so far. I miss the girl who first showed me how to get a low grade, but pleasant enough high from the marker she sniffed. 9th grade. One day, she gave me a handwritten guide on which were the markers to buy. Great nuance to her suggestions, it was laudable. She was sent away. People disappear all the time. Better just to admit it if you sleep alone. Okay, I have more time or no? Yes, I do. Okay, I'll read more stuff then. Okay, so I read all the old stuff that I wanted to read, so I'm gonna read stuff that's like kind of new that I haven't read. Things I think, I don't know, I just dropped something. Sorry if you heard that. This is called Poem for Mia Hansen Love. I'm here, tarmac and trees, delightful road. There were 2 of them, but we cut it down to 1. Stay to the right. We live in a mist. Hey, yellow boat and barrel sea. In 100 meters, you will reach your destination. No one here would have helped you. I take care of the houses. You are free to use the bicycles and his 4th wife's piano. I can't tell one type of tree from another, but I think those there are juniper trees. Separate beds. Water like blue paint. Enjoy. I believe in ghosts more than anything. Okay, this one is called The Witch House. This is a longer one. I can't, this is like a ghost poem. I've written a bunch of these like kind of cento, I call them edits because I change things around but there are a lot of poems that I wrote deriving from ghost hunting, paranormal investigation television shows. And so it's a lot of dialogue, but imagery, and I change things. So yeah, that's why I call them edits. TMI, I guess. But this one is called The Witch House. We're about to step back into 1692. 19 accused of witchcraft, executed by hanging. Tonight, we'll see what we stir up. A stain on this land forever. The bubble contains its own energy. A lot of energy has been trapped here. This man knows what he's talking about. Strange energy permeates this town. The lone physician examined her symptoms. Everybody was looking for it. Mix the girl's urine with flour. Feed it to a dog. Yes, watch the dog act strangely. In 1962, Satan. They believed he was everywhere. These were called coffin cells. When the tide came in, water and sewage rose up to their knees. Torture. 20 accused witches. They said witches came to them in their dreams. You were in league with Satan. It's a big deal. If you confess, you will be spared. So why didn't they confess? They felt their souls would be damned, die in this life, be set for the next. We have weddings up here. Bride and groom show us photos with spirits right next to them. We heard stories and laughed at them. At the top of the stairs, there they were. 3 boxes come flying down the stairs. I wouldn't say it's haunted, but there's something else there. It's haunted. The oldest structure in Salem. Once house to Judge Jonathan Corwin. 10 or 14 members of his family died in this house that we're standing in right now. She has 4 children. She passes. Strange shapes in their photographs. Your audio just died right now. Because that happened, I'm going to do a quick EVP session. Did you just grab my hand and use all my energy? Sounds like a little female. Did you hear that one? I did. Never heard one of those before. Are you a witch? Are you a witch? Excuse me, are you witches? It was a hard process to allow us to film and investigate here. It was a little bit. We had to go in front of the town council to get permission to do this, a first for us. We won. We are the first allowed to investigate the historic witch house. Hundreds, if not thousands of witches come here. You'll talk to witches. They'll tell you, we don't have a Jerusalem. We have a Salem. Did you write on this? She says she's not a witch, but she's got witches on her umbrella, witches on her shirt. He's still teething a little bit. Take the urine, bake it, feed it to a dog. We need a break from our search, so we watch a reenactment of the witch trials. She goes to meet someone, a tall man, a stranger to the village dressed all in black. If we allow these children to continue, we should all be devils and witches quickly. I am not a witch. A stay of execution. We have got to find a witch inside there. May I? You certainly may. Are you a witch? I certainly am a witch. Are there any potions we can bring with us? Are there any little kids around? I cannot ignore what my body is sensing right now. My favorite book as a kid. Good luck. I hope you find something. Which area of the house should we start? It is an absolute honor and privilege to be the first paranormal team to investigate this house. He was the man who led 19 people to their deaths. We are going to do a ritual to see if we can reach him or any of his victims. If a spirit comes close to this antenna, it breaks an electromagnetic field. If there's anybody in the Corwin family, ... Point 4. Point 7. Temperature drops. Is there somebody here with us? Use this black device to speak to us. There is something around me here. Not only are we feeling this, but the detector is documenting what we are feeling, physically and emotionally. Am I feeling the fear and hopelessness of one of the kids who died here? What are you trying to tell me? Are you trying to make me feel your pain? That alarm means a spirit just broke the electromagnetic field. Look at that. We will present this evidence shortly when we play back the audio. Point 9, point 8. Now it's a 0. Whatever was here, I felt it, and it's gone. Our mission is to communicate with the spirits of the wrongfully executed. Right now, we are investigating the witch house. We immediately identify an unexplained voice. This voice has the accent of the region. It has a Boston accent. Don't go in there in a Boston accent. A warlock accompanied by a female witch, a real one. We are going to do a ritual here in the witch house. The last time we conducted a pagan ritual, it definitely helped us gather evidence. The meter started going crazy as soon as the warlock and witch entered the house. I didn't want it to interfere with the ritual, so I turned it off. Open the way, open the gate. With 3 drops of my blood, each of you here tonight is going to die someday. An endless supply of white noise for spirits to speak through. What is your name and were you hanged? He's with the Beverly High Paranormal Investigation Club, and he will determine what is occurring here. If you look in the mirror, you will see a misform. I clearly see a 4th person with us there in the mirror. I just saw 4 of us standing there. I think we just figured out why people run away from here in the middle of the night. Can I read one more poem? Is that all right? This is a new poem, and then I'm done, I promise. Heath Ledger, this is called Heath Ledger Joke. This is called Heath Ledger Joker destroys the bridges of Madison County with incendiary grenades and C4 placed expertly. Tonight I will end my life with thin balloons and shiny coins, with splendid detergent and the cores of rotten apples and computer monitors slammed into my face like monks in Monty Python. I find myself writing about whatever is directly in front of me. In the past 3 months, I've written poems about my cat, the good wife, 2 lamps I own, both previously from the street, vinyl floors, HDMI cords, stacks and stacks of books, Animal Crossing, Iran versus New Zealand, the motion picture Waxwork and its sequel, Waxwork 2, Lost in Time, Los Tutanakas, my air purifier, my neighbor who complains to me about his gout and who speaks to his girlfriend troublingly. I will rescue her in a non-problematic manner, and she will move in with me. I'm just 10 feet away. Thank you so much, everyone. That is all I have tonight. This is really an honor and really fun. So just thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Zach. I'm trying to like unplaster the smile from my face. I'm imagining in my head all the various ways don't go in there would be said in a Boston accent. And that was Z.H. Gill, who you can find on social medias at Burial Magazine, BURIALMAGAZINE. And I will, of course, drop the link to that in the chat because Burial is an incredible archive. I'm totally unbiased in saying so. Yeah, wow, what an incredible evening and beautiful set of poems and artists and amazing, just amazing shit that we heard tonight. This is really great. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart as we wrap up tonight, thank you so much to all of our readers for sharing their beautiful work. This was really wonderful. We really appreciate it. And thank you to the listeners, both folks who are in the Zoom chat blowing it up with reacts and everything else. And if you're listening like from the future in YouTube land, we really, really appreciate that as well. I hope that we might see you at our next reading. We have one scheduled for July 16th, third Thursday in July, and it's extremely rare that this happens, but we actually already have a lineup, which is very rare because this is usually a very seat of the pants endeavor. Mike Bagwell, Dorcia Smith Silva, Na Ashley Ishite, and Chandler Hyde Camerado are going to join us. It's going to be a great time, and I'm really looking forward to it. I always wrap up Nightlight with a poem. I'm gonna do the Zach Audible. I was gonna read a different thing, but I feel like the place that we ended on is much more like Russell Edson's neck of the woods. So I'm gonna read a poem by Russell Edson called The Gift. A man put on a shoe and said to his dog, "What more is there to do? Against this all things pale." "It is an achievement, certainly," said the dog, "but what about your other shoe?" "How many important achievements do you think I have in me?" said the man. "Maybe you could put your hat on?" "That doesn't have any shoelaces," said the dog. "How very interesting," said the man. "You know, you're beginning to open whole new worlds to me." The dog felt flattered and its tail began to wag. "What are you wagging there?" said the man. "You've made me happy. It must be my tail," said the dog. "Is that a great achievement?" said the man. "I'm not usually aware of my tail," said the dog. "Ah, so then it's possible to do important things without even being aware that one is doing them. The list of my achievements must be incredible. If only I could be aware of them, that I might celebrate more fully. Ah, well, they're my unconscious gift to humanity."